Welcome to the Doo Divas Smells Like Money podcast. I'm your host, Suzan Chin Taylor, CEO and founder of Creative Raven, the firm that helps wastewater industry contractors and manufacturers unlock the power of digital marketing, AI, and PR to boost sales and opportunities. Whether it's through our online marketing and lead generation programs or providing a fully outsourced marketing department, we are passionate about helping businesses in the wastewater and civil infrastructure sectors not just survive, but thrive in today's digital world. Each episode, I'll be bringing you expert tips and strategies to help you grow and succeed. Let's dive in. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Doo Divas Smells Like Money podcast. Today, we have a delightful guest that we are visiting with, Gregg Schonhorn. Did I get that right, Gregg? From SF&P Advisors. And Gregg and I met at the recent WWETT show in Indianapolis at a VIP event. We just started talking, and it's a little unusual to have someone like this on the show, but I think he's got something very important to talk about for those of you in our audience who are contractors, entrepreneurs. And it's all about the subject, and it might be a little uncomfortable for some people, exit strategy and succession planning. Because no matter what way we want to look at it, I'm in the process of it myself. I'm planning long range for it, but we all have to exit at some point, one way or another. We're either going to do it voluntarily, or the man upstairs is going to, decide, okay, it's time. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So thank you for coming on the show, Gregg. And I'm really looking forward to this conversation.
And thank you, Suzanne, so much for having me on. It was great meeting you at WET, and we've since had a chance to catch up a little bit. I'll share a little bit sort of my backstory. So I spent 23 years on Wall Street in a fixed income department, trading bonds to institutional people. Coaching was always a massive passion of mine, whether it's Zig Ziglar, Tony Robbins. So I went through a 2-year coaching certification at Columbia University to be certified as a coach. I eventually worked with a bunch of Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies, along with some nonprofits. And Fred Silverstein, who is the owner of SF&P Advisors, is actually my college fraternity brother.
Oh,
So I met Fred. I will date myself. I met Fred back in 1989. And he came to me one day and said, I know you love sales and you love coaching. I know you know nothing about the home services, but I've got somebody that we just sold their business and they started a coaching organization. Would you like to get into that coaching and sales and training? And man, I spent 15 hours a day deep diving into learning how to teach business owners how to grow and scale. So I spent really 3 years working with the chuck in a truck or $60 million business and everything in between. So while I know what a flathead screwdriver is and a Phillips head, it's about where my skill set ends. But I could certainly talk about call by call management. I could talk about how to stack AI, why marketing matters. And I'm just going to throw this blurb in. If you're struggling with marketing, 99% of the time it's your fault. It is not the marketing agency. Sorry, it's just one of my favorite pet peeves.
Okay. Oh, you know what? Let's go down that rabbit hole. Because I want you to explain. Because it's music to my ears. And I remember I was talking about this, that it's not, if you're struggling with it, it's not your fault. And it's not the marketing agency's fault. What have you seen as an example where the poor marketing agency, they're struggling, they're trying to do their best job, but at the end of the day, they get thrown under the bus for the wrong reason. And what have you seen in your experience as the root cause of where the struggles are coming from on the business owner side, just to put this all in context?
Yep. So let me back up a little bit and just finish who I am, and then we're going to dive into that. At SF&P Advisors, we've actually been in business for 27 years. We have completed 442 transactions worth $3.8 billion to our clients. So this whole PE craze, we were really the ones that created almost 19 of the 56 platforms that exist in HVAC, plumbing, and electric were created by us. We've done brands like, if everybody knows Ken Goodrich, and we did Gettle and we did Horizon. We represented Any Hour, Drexler, Isaac, Rosenberg, Coolray. We've done the creme de la creme of people. So that's a bit of who we are and the
Right.
longevity that we've had. So typically when somebody calls me and says, "Ma'am, I need a new marketing agency. My marketing agency sucks." And I go, "Great." First question I ask, will you do me a favor? Log into your CRM, typically Service Titan. And I go, "Oh, what's your revenue?" And somebody will say, "Oh, I'm at 5 million." And I go, "Great. You probably have somewhere between 600 and 750,000 in unsold estimates. Tell me if I'm right or wrong." And they'll go, "Nope, it's 800,000." And I go, "You're not struggling with leads. You have process problems.
Mm.
You're not doing something's breaking down because you should only have two, three, maybe 400,000 max in unsold estimates." So just that one critical thing. Are you listening to the CSR's phone calls? AI automation now takes care of all of that.
Yes.
Like Rilla, there's many phone tap, there's so many different things out there that people are saying, "Oh, I've got a 60% booking rate and a 30% conversion rate." That is not a marketing company's problem. That is a, we stink and we don't have the systems and processes in house to do the due diligence that we need to, are we listening to every phone call? Do we get recordings to quality control? You know, when a CSR marks this, "Oh, they weren't interested," are they marking that as not a viable client? Right. So everybody does things different. And if somebody calls, you've got to have a real clear checklist of who's unqualified and who's qualified and what they're looking for. And then we talk about running the job and what our average ticket is and our conversion rate. I find most people, that's where they're failing. And it's, "I need more leads." Well, start converting the leads that you have.
Thank
Have a
you.
proper average ticket,
Thank
right? Have quality control to make sure you're doing the things that you should be doing instead of blaming, "I only got 4 leads last month." All right, great. What does your branding look like? Are you putting yard signs down? I'm actually doing a webinar this afternoon on really the journey from 0 to 1 million, 1 to 5 million, 5 to 15 million, and 15 million and above. And a lot of it is the stuff that you do at 1 million, you stop doing when you get to 4, 5, 7 million, kind of the hustle and grind everyday things like running to home shows, making sure you're getting your brand out everywhere. Have you invested your branding in the community? Do you put yard signs down? Do you run a yard sign contest? It's not just the house that you're in. Do you walk to the house to the left and the house to the right and leave a door hanger if you're not in a gated community and that's allowed? But you understand what I'm saying. You have to be doing other things than just running that singular call. And
I
marketing
hear you.
is
It's
an
the whole
extension
market,
of branding.
right? The whole market has changed, especially, with AI and digital marketing. And there's so much noise coming at your prospect. And it's true, we talked about at the show, we did a workshop on this, just like you were saying, those following up on those leads and that speed to lead is that if
Yep.
you can answer that call within the first 30 seconds, your chances of conversion go up
30? Oh, no, 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 no.
exponentially.
It's within 10 seconds you need to answer a phone call, and there's statistics out
Oh,
there.
yeah.
If it rings past 5 seconds, it drops off, and then it's 10 seconds, and you're not answering in 30 seconds. My other favorite thing when somebody says my marketing company sucks, I'll quickly Google them, go, "Let me ask a question. Why is your business open Monday to Friday, 9 to 5?" They're like, "Because that's what we work." And I go, "No, you're open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. You need after hours AI to answer your phones. You need somebody to be able to answer the phone. Just because you won't get there, maybe not till Monday, but if they call on a Saturday night, they better be talking to somebody. And you better have a process for, they've got a flooded basement or something. They're not waiting for Monday to you to come out. Or if it's 110 degrees and they've got no air conditioning,
Oh, yeah.
you have to have guys that can run those calls for emergency calls. And frankly, the emergency calls, there's money. But the first place it starts with your Google. You should, every single person looking at this should be, we are open 24/7, 365 on their website. And you don't get calls at 6, 7 at night because it says you're not open.
And you're absolutely right that if you don't answer the call, or if it picks up and they don't get a human, they're going to hang up and they're going to move on. And so it is, and I think
Well, I think that's an our
it's like that.
generation thing. I'm,
Well,
I'm going to disagree because I'm struggling around AI. I'm a person, I'm 54 years old, I'm probably hanging up. But when I talk to the 20 and 30 year olds, and I was just at Rillo last week, and you look at, Avaka and all these other services that are out there that are really, really doing well. And Avaka just got an investment from Apex. Apex has 300 million ballpark of EBITDA. And if they're now investing in that stuff, and there's now these call centers that can handle overflow, and they are AI agents that can move you to a human if they don't
I guess
want
that's
one,
what I
that
meant.
optionality should be
Yeah,
there.
I guess that what I meant was that there's some type of engagement. Like they feel like somebody is there on the other end of the line to keep the
Yep.
conversation going, to send them a text message, to keep them moving through the purchasing pipeline, and to
Now,
not just let
you,
it
you
die on the
you bring
vine,
up
the
you,
voicemail.
br- you bring up a great point. I order something on Amazon. I get a text. Your package is out for delivery. I get
Yeah.
another text. You're 8 stops away. Why are you not doing that for your clients? Your system's being delivered. By the way, Greg is going to be coming today at 9 a.m. this morning. Please have the car out of the driveway because we have a system that we need access to come in. By the way, Greg's a father of one. Greg is an avid runner and golfer. Put some friendly information so they know who's coming to their house. But that text message reminders are great. And then follow ups. Did you enjoy your experience? We're now engaged, and people aren't doing that. And they're wondering why their conversion stinks versus their competition that has all those things in place. And I understand for certain businesses that expense that comes with that they cannot do, but there becomes a point. It's text messaging. It's all AI and automation. If anything, it's getting cheaper and cheaper to
It
do
is.
that work.
And then what you were saying is you're preparing for your exit, is that little investment in what you're doing today that's
Yep.
going to build the business, close more deals,
Yep.
convert those leads. That's only going to make you look better to a potential buyer.
Yep.
Or if you're looking to expand, let's say you're going to turn it over to the children,
Yep.
or someone else in the family, or a friend, or you're going to do any, it's going to make you look better to a banker, that you've put proactive things in place to grow the business so that you don't die like a dinosaur. I like to say that, the yellow pad and pencil crowd, they're disappearing. The young people, oh my gosh, we're surgically attached. For those of you watching, I'm holding up my cell phone. We're
Yep.
surgically attached at the hip to our mobile phones.
Yep.
It's like we sleep with them next to us. I mean, growing up, I'm dating myself. I grew up in the days where you had the rotary dial phone. I'm really aging myself. You wanted to send somebody a note, you hand wrote the note, you stuck it in an envelope, you stuck a stamp on it, and you walked 2 blocks to the closest mailbox and dropped it in, and then you waited for days.
Yep.
People, no, we are instant gratification. We want it now. I don't even want to work.
But you bring up another great point. You had a client, we had a great experience at their house. We input a new HVAC system or we did a sewer line replacement, letter labs, or have somebody hand write a letter sent to the homeowner with a coupon saying thank you so much. Right? These little things that we used to do should still be done. And that's part of marketing. That's part of branding. And that's something that adds value long term to your business. That we do the thoughtful little things. That's how we put a fence around our clients. And then there's, the maintenance agreements and all of that comes with doing the job that you're supposed to do.
Well, you and I could probably talk marketing all day long, but
Yes.
it's great that we kind of went off on this tangent, because I think it does all tie in that the stronger your marketing and sales and conversion of sales
Yep.
efforts, the more valuable your company becomes. So that when it comes time that you decide, you know what, it's time for me to move on,
Yep.
that my business is actually going to have a shot at being worth what I'd like to get out of it. And so
Yep.
this is where I want to go with this, is that I think a lot of business owners have this figure in their head of what they think the business is worth.
Mhm.
But sadly, and maybe you can talk about this a little bit, sadly, what they think and what the reality on the ground
Yep.
are two different things. But that's not so much a bad thing, because if they work with someone like you and a firm like yours, you can turn that around. So maybe walk us through that process. And when, if you're thinking about, my kids don't want to take over the business, I need to sell it, when should I start my succession planning for the
Great
best
question.
possible outsource,
So,
outcome?
so everybody should be thinking of, I'm building a business to sell. Whether you're planning on selling it or not, whether you're anti private equity. And by the way, you don't have to sell to private equity. You could sell your business to a family office that's going to want to hold you for generations and generations. There are many different ways to exit other than the traditional, I'm going to sell to PE who wants to sell that platform within 5 to 7 years. So you should be building, there's a process to growing a business, right? And when you hit that 1 to 5 million, my biggest bugaboo in the industry and all the coaches, you need to learn how to read a P&L and balance sheet. Every business should be built off financial understanding. The
Yes.
whole concept of industry standard KPIs, no, it's your KPIs and where you're at in your business, and then how do I improve them by 2 to 3%. Once we grow and we head towards 5 million, it's systems, it's processes, and it's financial acumen is understanding, because that ultimately, the most successful business owners need to understand where the leakages in their business falls. And it's plain and obvious if you know how to read a P&L and balance sheet. I could tell you all the inefficiencies in your business. I had somebody recently who I'm like, by the way, you need to fire your dispatcher. And they're like, we never talked about that. And I'm like, I looked at your gas and your percent spend on gas versus every other business is way out of line. And he's like, well, they take the trucks at home. I'm like, doesn't everybody? 90% of the companies do, 80% of the companies do. So, no, what I see is an inefficiency in your gas expense, which means you're not routing people properly. So, understanding your P&L, understanding your balance sheet, we can go even deeper and talk about leveraging debt, but that's part of that process of growing. Now, as we grow towards 4, 5, 6 million in a business, now we need service manager or general manager. We start adding in not quite what I'm going to call C-suite, but they become our critical managers that do day to day, whether it's an install manager or field supervisor, office admin. These are really important things to think about as we continue to grow and scale. And for larger companies, call it 10, 15, 20 million. Do you have a CMO? Do you have a CFO? Do you have a COO? These are things that you have to plan for 4 or 5 years in advance. You can't go, oh my God, we're 12 million and I don't have any of these things. How do I do this? Well, when you're 6 or 7 million, you should have the foresight. I tell everybody this. What size is your business? Oh, I do 10 million. Great. You should have an organizational chart on your wall for 30 million. And he's like, why would I do that? And I go, because it's going to have a ton of empty spaces and it's going to show your employees where your vision's headed, what growth looks like, and it shows people opportunities to move up. How do I train? How do I coach? And how do I manage my people to a better future? And when you visually look at that chart, you're going to start realizing here are the things that over the next year or 2 years, I really need to be on the lookout for. Because you're not going to find an incredible CFO or COO or a general manager instantly. But if your eyes are open for a year or two ahead, by the time you're ready for it, you probably have already found that person. Does that make a little bit of sense?
It makes a lot of
Yeah,
sense.
it's a journey.
Right. And so I guess one of the things that, I see that working with a consulting coaching firm like
Yep.
yourself, like, don't try to sell your business on your own, or, the
Yeah.
firm, because I'll tell you, I
My,
emails,
I'm,
people pitching me, oh, we've got money to, spend. We want to invest in your business. Oh, they come out of the woodwork. I get them on my cell phone. I get them in my email. I get them in my LinkedIn messaging. And it's like, no, go away.
so
And
my biggest competitor is not somebody else that does what I do. My biggest competitor is I'm going to use the term idiot. It's the idiot business owner that one day responds and sells his business directly because those professionals that went to Ivy League or were great at entertaining you, making you feel like they've got your back. I'll share a great example. I had somebody reach out to me. It was 2 years ago now. I was boarding a flight from LA to San Francisco and saw the number ring and I knew who it was and I had answered it. And he's like, I'm working with so and so. They've offered me this. I'm like, send me financials. He had an $8 million offer. We closed 6 months later at almost $16 million for that business.
Wow.
Yep. And it happens all the time. I'm working on a deal with these guys. The amount of money left on the table is not, I left 200, 500,000. Typically, you are leaving millions and millions of dollars by not having representation of somebody like us. As I say to people, would you get divorced without a lawyer? How could you sell your life's work for 6 million, 10 million, 30 million and not have proper representation that has done 442 deals?
Right. And I think it also comes down to that advisor, if they get to know you well enough,
Yep.
going to be able to point you in the direction of the right purchaser or the right investor. That if you have a certain thing that you want to maintain, or core culture, especially if you're in a small community,
It's really important.
that people have gotten to know that
Yep.
business for a certain reputation. You sell it to someone from outside of the area, they're going to come in, what's going to happen. They're going to dismantle it, they're
It,
going to
it
change
all
the
it
corporate
all
culture,
depends.
and then they don't understand why the company is hemorrhaging profits. And it's like, well, you buy a business because there's something in it that's making it special and making it profitable. And then you come in and you think you know better and you start to dismantle it. And so
Yep.
I think, working with an advisor, they're going to find a person that is going to respect or say, hey, they've got something going
But
good.
what but what we
Let's keep
provide,
this going.
Suzanne, is options. We have 186 buyers of HVAC, plumbing, and electrical business. You are going to a typical business that comes to us that we take to market. We will get somewhere between 70 and 90 signed non-disclosures. You're only going to meet 8 to 12 of them, but we want leverage. We want as many possible options looking at your business to fight over your business. We don't play favorites. We represent the seller. We don't care about the buyer. We want as much money out of that buyer as possible because we only work on a success fee. There's no money down, there's no retentions, there's none of that stuff. The only way we get paid is if we find you a deal that meets your satisfaction and the deal closes. If not, we get a bagel. We get nothing. But it's how we've always worked. And I've got clients that we work with for years. I shared a story with you earlier. Uh, you know, gosh, about a year and a half ago, I was in just call it anywhere USA, and I'm sitting at a bar at 8 at night by myself. I've got meetings starting at noon the next day, having a bourbon or two perhaps, and I texted 11 people. I've never spoken to any of them. I've never gotten any of them on the phone. I sent a text with my name, what I do, and said, does anybody want to have breakfast? One person responded. I met him at 6 a.m. for breakfast. We spent about an hour and 15 minutes together. And I quickly realized he's an incredible human being running a really good business that needed help. At the time, he thought he was worth around 5 million. So we sent in some financials and we built a roadway. I said, we can get you more for your business eventually. Work with us. So he went under a very long-term engagement with us. I had introduced him to one of my secret sauce vendors to help. And we got him literally this morning, we got him a $13 million offer for his business. And that's a year and change worth of work. Year
So,
and 2 months to be
so
exact.
it comes down to work with the right person, be a little patient, and you might wind up with a lot more than
Yep.
what you anticipated. But you were saying about the deal and getting the most money. And sometimes when business owners sell, it may not be, it may be a bidding war, but it might not be, okay, one person, let's just say, offers you 10 million and another offers you 11 million. And even though the extra million looks good and sounds good,
They
that
might not be the best partner.
exactly.
I agree
So at the end
100%.
of
And
the
it
day, you
happens.
also have to look for, is it the best partner to basically hand over your baby? You ever saying
Yep.
your life's work? Are they going to take care of your people? Are they going to take care of your reputation?
Yep.
Is it, are your values? And I say this all the time, when you're looking to work with anybody that's going to be a consultant for your firm, make sure your core values are aligned
Yep.
and that bottom line, you like that person. You're going to be involved in a very, not like a romantic intimate, but you're going to be involved in a very intimate relationship. You're
Yep.
going to be sharing hopes and dreams and concerns and challenges. And so you want to make sure that this is someone that understands and is aligned
Yep.
and is going to have that empathy and will really hear you. And so that I think
This
is really
harkens me
important.
back to our original conversation, how we connected. I am a person, I only surround myself with people that are of service first. So if anybody goes up, looks up my Facebook profile, you will see consistent around the people that I post stuff about. It's this is a human being that truly is of service of others first, and it's not about them. And that's sort of how we bonded and connected was over being that kind of a human being. And at my core, that's who I am. I want to be of service. I want to be somebody that's incredibly impactful in somebody's life. And I want them to feel more enriched and better for having met me. And that's really important. And I know, we had done a Zoom after meeting and we really had connected on a lot of that same core
Right.
values.
That
Yep.
value of paying it forward and being of service first, because sometimes you're not a good fit, but just spending a little time getting to know someone and not assuming that you know what they need
Yeah.
is asking, I think, Mike, Greg, I'm sorry. Why did I call you Mike? That's interesting. I must be thinking of a Mike that I have to meet later. But Greg, it's being a person that asks a lot of questions. I think I called you Mike. I share this. I'm thinking because it's coming up on an anniversary for us. My dear friend Mike, who is no longer with us, we met in an airport, and he became a mentor, and he helped me, and he truly paid it forward for me. And he said to me, I really owe my success to him. And I said, how can I ever repay you? And he said to me, the greatest gift we're ever able to give ourselves is when we meet somebody and they need our help and they need something that only we can give. And we know that they're going to do something with that gift to gift them with whatever that help is, whether it be financial, emotional, whatever it is. And then watch them take that and turn it into gold. He said,
Yep.
there's no better gift in the world. And he said, so if you encounter that and you do that, the debt will have been paid.
Yeah. It's an
And
enriching
so I've
life.
really made that my mission going forward, especially in this industry. Is one of the reasons I started the podcast was I want to give back to an industry that's been so, so very good to me.
Yeah.
And it's about making the world better by sharing our gifts. It's like I'm a firm believer you can't keep it unless you're willing to give it away. And so, Greg, it's been an absolute delight having you on the show. And so
Thank you.
for those of you in the audience who are interested in maybe, oh, I better start thinking about my succession planning, or, maybe I need a consultant. Maybe I'm not ready yet. But at the beginning, when we were talking about my marketing's not doing so good and I don't understand why, and I'm spending money. And I know the marketing agency's working hard, but things are falling flat, maybe I need some help. Maybe I need a third party that has an objective viewpoint that can come in and look and see what's going off the rails to turn things around to help me scale, to help me grow. Even like you were saying, I might not be ready to sell today, but wouldn't it be nice if 10 years from now I grow this business where I could retire and get what I really, really want out of my business. So, how can they get in touch with you, Greg, and learn more and see what it takes to work with S&P advisors?
So the two easiest ways, simplest, my cell phone. So that's going to be 973-919-5509. Now that you have a pen, I'll say it again, 973-919-5509. And the second way is if you want to email me, it's Greg, Gregg, at sfpadvisors.com.
And you're also on LinkedIn, and they
I'm
do
on
have a
LinkedIn,
website. And
Facebook.
so the
Yep.
normal things, and that information will be included in the show notes on this episode. And so, yeah, really, I invite you to reach out to Gregg. He is a wealth of knowledge, and just he'll steer you in the direction that you need to go that will make a positive impact. And so with that, again, Gregg, thank you so much for being
Thanks
here.
for having me.
Thank you, audience, for spending your time with us. And until next time, keep it flowing. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. If you're ready to take your marketing to the next level and start increasing sales and opportunities for your business, reach out to us at Creative Raven. We're here to help you thrive in the digital landscape. Visit creativeraven.com or click the link in the show notes below to schedule a call and learn how we can support your growth. If you enjoyed the insights on today's episode, be sure to hit subscribe so you'll never miss an update. Until next time, keep growing and keep it flowing.